This model of the Star Wars A-Wing is one of the first ones that I finished in my second modeling career. That is the one where I was doing super detailing, weathering, all sorts of the cool stuff that we tend to take for granted. The weathering on this was done with chalk pastels applied with Q-tips, brushes, things like that. Some of the weathering was also done with paint washes, mainly the blotted sort of areas. This streaky sort of weathering that you see on the tail fins, that's chalk streaking. I also did some boring out of the gun barrels and the small intake vents on the front of this. I think also the pilot figure that's inside the canopy is not the same one that came with the kit. I think that one looked a little more like a monkey. Here's the belly of the A-Wing, the belly of the beast. You can see more weathering, also areas where after the weather was finished, I repainted it to suggest replaced panels, repairing damage that had been blasted into the thing in one of those wonderful Lucasfilm battles. This is the 1/1600th Arcadia, the green Arcadia from the Japanese anime series Endless Road SSX, as well as the My Youth in Arcadia movie. One of a number of Captain Harlock series. There's a larger version of this kit, 1/1000 scale, I believe. It's about half again as long as this one. Painting on this one was almost all done by airbrush. The main shades of green were airbrushed on. The white for the skulls and crossbones was hand painted on. The stern castle was hand painted. Yellow for the windows. There's also some gold filigree on there. Kind of difficult to see probably in this case. The flag was made out of a small piece of black plastic. The skull and crossbones hand painted on there. A little bit of damage poked in through it. Well, what do you get when you turn a 1/48 scale F-15 upside down and have at it with the kit bashing parts? This was built for one of those crazy movies that you make when you're a teenager, except this movie never got made. Yeah, I know, it's Italian Air Force markings, big deal. The guns are hypodermic syringe parts, needle holders, all sorts of things that you can scarf out of the biolab. The pilot figure inside there is a 52mm woman, actually. This was referred to in the vernacular as the Bad Broads Fighter. Here's another one of those cool Japanese kits. This is the Psych Rotor 2 from the Japanese animated Lensman movie. Piloted by the young and somewhat ditzy Kimball Kinnison. In addition to sitting here like this kit actually does stuff. The vanes flop back and forth. The Psych Rotor model was built to undock. There's a small sled which undocks from the parent body. More little vanes. Flop out. The whole thing docks together. There's a rudder assembly also that folds up and down. All kinds of cool Japanese moving stuff. I think this must have been one of the first exercises in bashing together something that I ever did. The main body of that, the triangular portion, is one of the small shuttles off the old manned orbiting laboratory kit. It's my only surviving piece of that kit. The aft superstructure, I built that on there with sheet metal. The warp engines on this are made from, I think they're bomb racks, off some 1/48 scale kit. There's a quarter sitting next to this for a size comparison. At one time those 4 impulse engines in the back, illuminated. Something must have gone wanky with the soldering in there. because they don't light up anymore. Britannia 2, again from the Japanese Lensman movie. The paint job on this was gray and the bluish slate color. The rest of the detailing on it, the weathering, was applied with chalk pastels using Q-tips, paintbrush stubs, masked off with post-it notes or occasionally bits of masking tape. This is the underside of the Britannia. The landing gear, again, were painted with the overall gray color. Weathering on it is, again, chalk pastels. This time, before I put the pastels on, I coated over it with a brushed on coat of Dull Coat, and then kind of dabbed the chalk pastels into the Dull Coat. It got kind of gritty and grutty looking, as though these landing gear had been sitting in mud. Obviously the Sulaco from Aliens or Alien 3, depending on what color the decals are. This is the Aliens version with the black marking of USS Sulaco. 1/2500 scale kit. Fairly straightforward to put together. The weathering on this kit was done again with chalk pastels. This is over a simple neutral gray base coat. Only one color of paint used on this.